through. So my grandfather was my stable figure. You know, he was my best friend, my grandfather, my real father, all in one person. And so it was on these waters that he taught me the values of life, how to live, how to think about life, how to look at the beauty of nature and the connections that we have. And this thing right here, this fly rod right here, is the first fishing rod that I ever owned. It was given to me on my 3rd birthday. And it came from Sears and Roebuck, and I had JB redo this rod for me and for Granddaddy. So on April 3rd, I'll be 53. So this rod will be 50 years old. And I'm not boasting here, but I have easily caught over 100,000 fish on this rod. There's so many lessons to be learned out here with fly fishing, just like anything, hiking, photography. But nature has something more to give than I think activities indoors do. And that's what you're hearing. These birds, the trees. I mean, we're on a perfect day today and there's no wind blowing. Looking at the reflections of these beautiful fall trees in the water. It allows your mind to slow down at the same pace that an old fiberglass fly rod can put you in. And that goes back to the spiritual side of what I'm studying, which is spiritual ecology. And this guy who I'm studying under, who's not with us anymore, his name is Thomas Berry, and he started out as a Catholic priest around World War II. So he literally traveled the world for several decades, and ended up a lot of his studies over in Asia, and studied Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, all the Eastern religions. He also studied as many as he could of the indigenous cultures' religions, the native people's religions. Thomas Berry took this idea, or his way of thinking about God and spiritual and religion, and then he started to think about ecology and how humans were destroying the planet, and why it was happening, how it was happening. And by being informed through all of these world religions, he understood that what we were doing was for ourselves. And so he started to think of the world very subjectively instead of objectively. His thought was, if we can see the world as a communion of subjects and not a collection of objects, we would be in such a different place in this world. So I want to become part of this new story of Thomas Berry. I want to take these philosophical thought processes and turn it into a practice. I believe in order to affect change, we all have to have a passion, first of all, and my passion is fly fishing. So if I'm going to get to know this stuff, look at how I'm connecting to it. I've got a fly rod in my hand with a fly on the water, fly line, a fly sitting there that's all connected to this place. If an insect falls off of that tree and falls in the water and I see a fish go after it, well, wait a minute, I want to catch that fish. I'm going to go over here and throw it under this tree branch and hope that it hits it. And boom, I've got it. And now I'm going to pull it in and I'm going to hold this fish in my hand, and I'm going to say thank you for the time that you and I got to connect. I know you didn't like the way we connected, but I promise I'm going to take care of you, and I want to see you up close. I want to see the beauty of who you are, so that when I need to understand you better, I know how to understand you better. And now I'm going to release you and say goodbye and know that you and me are now part of each other. And that is where the connection comes.
Because you don't forget those fish.
You don't forget those fish.
Yeah.
That's where the depth of connection comes in, where communion of subjects. And that's my small way of trying to find a way to contribute back to the world by teaching people the importance of this connection. That is the experiential knowledge that these kids need today, so that they can grow up as adults and become informed of what the beauty really is. And that's the beauty we have to take care of, because that is the beauty that's taking care of us. And then that becomes a mutually enhancing way of knowing. I mean, there's so many beautiful things right in front of us to behold, you know. So instead of being in a church right now, in a pew, listening to the pastor, I'm going to be right here with all my other fellow subjects and thanking God for giving me the time to be with these subjects and get to know these subjects and flourish and live and be happy with these subjects.